Okay, well, the next step is to install this bad boy. I don't even have to worry what's up and down right just yet, but I'm going to look at this. Remember I said usually this is at the bottom? Well, generally when you look at something you'll see up or top. Might say top right there. Right here it says up with an arrow facing up, and usually the writing is to where you can see it, but sometimes you can turn it either direction and the writing might be up the same way, but this one's upside down and I see the up. Take just a moment to familiarize yourself with that, because when I took out this light switch, is this side up or is this side up? I have no idea until I look at it, and I'm gonna guess it's right here. And I don't know if you can see that right there. It says top. See? My pet peeve is always making sure it's up. Some electricians, and I found a couple in the house here where they have them backwards. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to flip it around. I might make a video of that some other time to show you about that, because I always like it where all the switches are the same in the house. That's on. The bottom is off. Top is on. Now that will work on all single pole, where this just goes up for one set of lights up in your ceiling. You might find something where if it's a three-way switch, obviously if there's one switch on this wall and one switch somewhere else, it can't always be like that, because you turn it on over here, maybe on this over here you're going to turn it off. So then this one looks like it's on, so next time you turn it on you have to hit the bottom instead of the top, because it's a three-way, you know. But all single switches, always check that and make sure top is top. Okay, very simple to do. Okay, so now we're ready for the next step. For some reason, I always like to hook up the ground first, and so I'll just kind of kink it. I'm right-handed, so I just like to set things up. My left hand, and because this is already stiff, they've already had it twisted together, and this is all tight with the strands. Sometimes if this is all loose strands, then I would twist all that together, make one thing, and I might make it a little bit longer and kind of wrap it around the end. I don't have to do it on this because it's already stiff. Okay, now I can put that on there, hold it tight, make sure that's nice and snug. And sometimes when you put a yellow wire nut on two wires like this, sometimes they come loose because there might not be enough to fit all up in there before this just kind of keeps twisting. So, you know, usually, like I say, they'll give you an orange wire nut for this, and then it fits on there nice, but it's fitting. And once you fill it tight, you don't have to over tighten it. Just kind of pull on your wires, make sure they're tight, because sometimes they feel like they could be tight, and you pull on this and it comes right out, all because it's the threads in here just didn't seat properly, especially if you're connecting more than two wires, let's say. Okay, so now my next thing is one black, and I don't care which one it is, one black to one. Okay, I'm gonna hold them up there and put that on there. Get that tight, feel snug. I usually pull on these because these are usually solid wires coming out of the box. These wires are stranded in here, and they're all soldered together on this particular one. But these, if anything does come loose, is going to be, you know, the one that you're attaching to the one to the box. Okay, so that one looks good. Okay, so I'm going to take that and just kind of bend it like that. And I can bend this sideways like that so I can hold on to it. Put them both together like that. Put the wire nut on there. I like to try to kind of pinch it there so if this does come loose, it might be because one wire is sliding up in there more than the other wire, and you don't get a good grab on them. Sometimes when it feels tight, you might feel this kind of overlapping the other one. Okay, so I can kind of pull on there. Don't jerk it really super hard, but you can pull on it, make sure it's tight. Okay, so that's our next step. Kaboom. Now if you really wanted to, you could turn the power on right now. And then you could turn it on and off and do this if you got any sort of questions, but I'm not going to do that. My next step is going to be to push all these back in the box. And because this is a 2-gang box with a single gang cover plate, it should be nice and easy to fit all that in there. But if this was a single gang box inside the wall, and if it's a short one, or depending how deep it is, depending how many wires are in this box, it might be kind of tricky to fit all this back in there, because you got to realize this light fixture or light switch, see how deep it is? See this one, it's not as deep. So I got to get those wires in there because I've got wire nuts on here before. Now, remember before we didn't have any of these wire nuts. We had the wire going directly to the ground, and we had the other wires pushed into the bottom of the back side of the switch. Okay, so in here we've got these 3 wire nuts to go in there. And there's another tip for you. If you're having a difficult time putting all this in, you might want to think about using orange wire nuts here. And I don't happen to have any right now. I don't think I have any in my nail bag, but I have some. It's always good to kind of have a few with you in case you need them for different things. And I could have put orange wire nuts on there, and they were smaller to fit inside the box, let's say, but I'm not going to have any issue with it. Okay, I make sure this is facing down and this is facing up, and that's going to fit in the box. Wow, see, there's just barely enough room to fit that in there. Okay, so my next step is to spaghetti. I call it spaghetti everything in. We've got to kind of roll these up and stuff, but I'll show you that on the next step. I hope you're still with me. We're installing this dimmer switch and we're halfway home. Okay, I'm just gonna look in here and see what I've got to do. I'm gonna kind of roll this together. See, I just kind of roll it and I can fold it in there and see how I'm gonna kind of direct these. I guess I want to get the yellow or the ground wire nut over here to the left, so I'm going to reposition that. And my black wire in here, I'll probably put this wire nut over to the right, this one over to the left, let's say. You know, just the same direction. Sometimes it'll work that way, sometimes it won't. Okay, see, I just have to overlap that. So I'm bending that together. I try not to do it too close to the wire nut, just in case something wants to kind of kink on the threads or anything. Okay, that one's going to go in there. I just bend that. I'm going to just kind of roll that in there. Keep that out of the way. And so far so good, right? Okay, that's what you want right now. Okay, I want to gently push this stuff in and make sure I'm not hitting anything. If you've got a wire nut behind there and this is not pushed in all the way, don't think that all I have to do is put a screw in there. I'll just ram the screw in there and the back side of this will push in. Sometimes that doesn't happen and you kind of bend this plate out or something, or the light switch doesn't want to fit in there properly. So make sure you got enough room in there. Make sure it's fitting flat to the wall. If it's kind of coming out at an angle, you don't want that. You want everything tight and flat. So when you put the cover plate on, this reveal that goes around here is all nice and the same. Okay, so I'm gonna fish this back in there where the other ones were.